Hey everybody, Dave Karger here at the IMDb studio at the Toronto International Film Festival. Very happy to be joined by the whole gang from the movie The Report, the director Scott Z. Burns, the producer Jennifer Fox, Adam Driver, the guy he plays, Daniel Jones, Annette Bening, and Jon Hamm. Hello to you all. Thanks so much for being here. Daniel, I want to start with you. You're the reason we're all here. This is a film that has played now at the Sundance Film Festival, just played Telluride to great success. Now it's playing here. Are you getting used to seeing your story portrayed on a huge movie screen, or is it still trippy?
Well, I think the important thing is it's the story of the report itself, right? Of that 525-page summary that the Senate fought to get out and that Scott tells so well in that 2-hour narrative. So we're really excited for the public to see it.
Adam, how did you decide as you were preparing for this what the appropriate amount of time to spend with Daniel would be so that it was enough without being too much?
Well, it wasn't calculated. It just kind of worked out how it worked out. So I don't know. I didn't do it the other way. So I spent a handful of hours with him. We met a couple times, and that was basically it. But he was on set a lot more than I knew that he was going to be able to be. So which was incredibly helpful. Even just a technical aspect of being, blackboards, costumes, things like that. But Dan was also really good at being there but not there.
I see.
It was great. I think it could have been totally different. He could have showed up drunk and challenged us as we were shooting it.
More drunk.
Yeah, more drunk than than now.
Scott, one of the highest compliments I can pay this movie is that besides being riveted by it, I understood it. Did you work very hard to make sure that it was just complex enough to be able for audiences to follow it, but also make us really think about what was happening?
First, I feel like that really validates our decision to do it in English.
Thank you for that.
One of the things I did with this script that I hadn't done previously as much was we did a lot of table reads, and it helped to hear it out loud because when you read something over and over again, I think you lose track of redundancy and where the emotion is and making space around those moments. And so I sort of went back to kind of a theater technique, which was, have table reads, hear it over and over again, put some people in the room whose opinions you really admire, and make sure that the story's both working logically but also emotionally.
Annette, your performance as Senator Dianne Feinstein is fascinating. When presented with the idea, were you like, yeah, that makes sense to me, or did you have to be kind of talked into it in a way to play her?
I did not have to be talked into it. I read it. I thought it was incredibly well told and in such an important story in this chapter of our history that's so recent, but we have to be reminded of what happened, the pressure people were under after 9/11, the pressure that our intelligence community was under to try to answer what happened. So I loved it, and I thought I felt very lucky. So I just said, yes, at least that's what I remember. Is that what you remember, Scott?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I felt pretty much lucky every day because, it was these three and, whether it was Corey Stoll or Matthew Reese or Maura Tierney, there were so many people who showed up to play a part, Tim Blake Nelson.
Always great.
So I think that also really helped to what you were saying earlier. I think the fact that the audience can see sort of a new, interesting person introduced throughout the movie helps with, keeping the tension alive and the interest there.
Yeah. Jon, you as Obama's chief of staff, you've got some wonky, kind of political stuff going on. Did your head ever hurt with some of the more complex stuff going on?
No. Thank you for not saying anything in it. No, it was actually nice to play the kind of the man in the middle, and sort of be the representative of the Obama administration and the people that have to clean the mess up. I mean, Scott sets it up beautifully in the script where he says, come back when we're done with these guys and help us clean up what they broke. And I think we're going through that now in many ways. And so it's interesting to be the guy that says, okay, we have to clean this up, but we also have to keep moving. We also have to deal with the other 900 things that are wrong. And that's what being in the federal government is. It's constantly putting out fires, and fires from administrations previously that you had nothing to do with, but it's still a fire.
Yeah.
And it's still going to cause damage if you don't deal with it. And I think that's one of the real lessons of this is you can make mistakes. You just have to address them and fix them. You can't just ignore them. And I think that's the real lesson of the film, and hopefully that resonates currently in what we're dealing with now.
And speaking of the great cast of this movie, for a film dork, to see you with Ted Levine from
For
The Silence
sure.
of the Lambs.
You kidding me? I mean, I was not, underwhelmed. And he's so good. He's such a good actor.
Always.
But that's what Scott was saying. Like, we had great actors in every scene. It was unbelievable, and it testifies to the quality of what Scott made. People want to do it.
Jennifer, one of the things that the movie really delves into is tension between the FBI and the CIA, and the CIA kind of blocking access and having a very antagonistic relationship to other parts of the government. For you, as one of the outward-facing people of this movie, did you have to run interference at all between the production and certain parts of the government that might not have been thrilled about it? What did that
We actually kept a very low profile, and we did have a lot of sources to give us information, but we never had a kind of official relationship or any kind of outward. They weren't going to bless it, but we did a lot of deep journalism. We had people like Jane Mayer from The New Yorker who interviewed significantly, and Scott did 5 years of research. So we knew we had our facts straight. So we were confident that what we were saying was true. And we've even have annotated every line pretty much of the script and can source everything that we say as accurate. So we didn't feel the need to announce ourselves in that way because we knew we had the backing.